Hi guys, welcome back to Spice Channel TV. Thank you for always coming out here. If you're joining us for the first time, please kindly subscribe and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you. My country people, the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has lost an appeal in a legal action he filed against the United Kingdom government concerning his detention in Nigeria. The separatist leader, who holds British citizenship alongside his Nigerian nationality, launched the action in London last year to mount pressure on the UK government to intervene in his case with the Nigerian government. The court case is another layer in his battle with the UK government, which began with the exchange of a series of letters over his detention in Nigeria, staining his relationship with the government of his second country to a breaking point last year, and inspired by the presumption that the UK government owed him, as a British citizen, the responsibility of a consular assistance regarding his detention in Nigeria. Mr. Kanu had approached the UK courts at least to obtain an order to compel the UK government to take a stand and a definite action, making a public statement to condemn his detention. He commenced his legal battle against the UK government by filing his case at a high court in London last year, where he sued the Secretary of the State for Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, also referred to as the Foreign Secretary, as the representative of the UK government. But then the court dismissed his case on the 23rd March 2023. He subsequently filed an appeal at the Civil Division of the Court of Appeal, Royal Court of Justice in London, to challenge the High Court's decision. The Court of Appeal affirmed the High Court's verdict and dismissed Mr. Kanu's appeal on the 7th July, ruling that it could not interfere in the decisions of the UK government on the IPOB leader's detention and conditions in Nigeria. The court also held that it could not force the Foreign Secretary, sued by Mr. Kanu as the representative of the UK government, to reach a firm view on the matter while the Nigerian government case against him was still at the Nigeria's Supreme Court. And to consider all this, the court also held that there is no procedural bench committed by the Foreign Secretary by refusing to make a public statement to condemn Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention. But here, my country people, the case has eventually made its way to the UK courts. Now is a fallout of irreconcilable difference between the UK Foreign Secretary and Mr. Kanu on appropriate steps to take over his arrest and alleged maltreatment in the Nigerian custody. It was stated with the first letter by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's legal team to the Foreign Secretary shortly after the Nigerian government captured him into Kenya and brought him into Nigeria in June 2021. And the focus of the initial correspondence was to urge the British High Commission to obtain a permission to visit Nnamdi Kanu in custody at the Nigeria State Security Service, in Abuja. But then in reaction, the British High Commission requested permission by the note Valaby sent on the 1st July to the Nigerian government. But for a significant period, the Nigerian authorities provided no response. And then Mazi Nnamdi Kanu lawyers sent another letter to the Foreign Secretary contending that the failure to provide consular assistance, and in particular the failure to take steps to do so beyond simply asking the Nigerian authorities, was unlawful. And the tune of the letters sent by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's legal team became more confrontational, with each response of the Office of the Foreign Secretary detailing the steps the government had taken to provide assistance for Nnamdi Kanu. But then the office insisted that it would continue to handle the matter as it considered best appropriate. But then, my country people, they've been sending letters here and there to the foreign secretary, but to no avail. Now, the letters from the office of the foreign secretary highlights the various forms of interventions of the UK government through its officials in Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's matter. And the separatist leaders' lawyers believes the steps are insufficient. Then the correspondent highlighted how the British High Commissioner raised Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's case during meetings with top officials of the Nigerian government, including Ibrahim Gambari, the Chief of Staff to the then President Muhammad Buhari, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema. And on the occasion, the UK Foreign Secretary said it sent letters to Malami to provide additional information requested by him. But then, my country people, the FCDO officials raised up Mr. Nnamdi Kanu's case with the Nigerian Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs officials, and the DSS, according to the correspondence quoted in the UK Court of Appeals judgment. But then the Judge David Ben, delivering the lead decision of the court's three-member panel, acknowledged that there was a limit to which the foreign secretary could go to help Nnamdi Kanu while proceedings are still ongoing against him in Nigeria. So currently, their hands are tied. He said, while the judgment of the Nigeria's Court of Appeal was clear, it was significant that the same court on the 20th October 2022 granted a stay of the effect of the judgment pending the government's appeal to the Supreme Court. And it is regrettably that more than 8 months later, the appeal has not been heard, but the fact remains that it is still pending, the court held. The court also noted that the contention by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer to the effect that the Nigerian government's case was effectively hopeless because of what she says is the plain violation of the international law. But I don't think that we can say particularly where the Federal Court of Appeal has itself granted a stay pending an appeal to the Supreme Court that the appeal must be treated as manifestly unfolded. So, my country people, this is the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Well, he's yet to be released. Meanwhile, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been trying to get himself released. He has been going from one trial to another with his lawyers, Aloye Jimako. Now, he called on the UK Foreign Secretary and also have pressured the UK government to please intervene in his matter in Nigeria because he is also a British citizen. So, my country people, what are your thoughts on this? I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you.